what exactly will be the methodology. Before that, I would want to convey my heartiest regards to Dayananda Sagar College to have provided this particular opportunity, and also thanks to you folks to have got registered yesterday while your professor actually called me to say that this is being circulated and you people will have to nominate and register. While we go to so many different educational institutions, folks, we have covered more than around 100 plus institutes right now. While we look forward to share the information and also what exactly can bring in the change and what are you looking out for and what is the kind of a credibility that we can bring onto the stage to tell you what information can you utilize. This is where your, when this morning when I just came in, when he also did mention, yeah, people have turned up really well. I was extremely excited because this is what we expect. I need, particularly when it comes to the business, I am serious with my business. So when you are very clear with your objective, it is definitely a positive stroke for us to say that, yeah, we are targeting and there are people who are serious with the things that they would want to take it forward. So thank you for being over here. Really, really appreciate, and I promise that this session will be really useful for you. And one thing that I would want to emphasize is also that unlike other sessions which are equally significant and important, this session is something which is not necessarily useful only immediately within the couple of years, immediately after your UG or after your PG or anything like that. So is this working by the way? Understand what are the myths about entrepreneurship and how mentally are you supposed to be prepared and where is your journey and what is a kind of a starting point. While we come with a very hunky-dory idea about in our mind, probably that will be a kind of a surprise for you in a couple of occasions, and along with it, when you have an idea, while I give you the introduction, Sunil will take over as a part B, that once when you have a solution, how are you going to go about it and what are the different elements of starting an entrepreneurship? How can you get the aid and assistance from the government of India or different schemes, and how exactly would you want to take it forward? This will be the methodology of the program. But having said that, it is also important for you to understand while I was speaking that this is not a session which will be useful only during this context, folks. The information that you are going to take, point number one, can be useful 5 years from today, 8 years from today. Point number one. Point number two, it is not necessarily only to you. There might be your brother, your sister, your friends, your family members, your extended acquaintances who would want to ask that, okay, there is an information, I am intending to start up something. How do I want to go about it? This information can also be useful where you will pay it forward to them, and that is also something that you may have to keep it in mind, not necessarily with respect to subject matter, but with respect to your career. Try to build, and a bunch of people over here will be striving for the placements. There will be organizations coming because I am from the HR world also. There is at least around 5,000 interviews that I have taken in the last 25 years. That's the lower limit. While I understand your mindset, I have worked with you this at least around quarter century now. So I get your vibes, I get your objectives, and from generation to generation the expectations have really changed. But when it comes to the opportunity that has come in, this is also true that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there were no entrepreneurship development, exclusively the seriousness towards that in any of the institutes, which is taking a very, very big change in almost most of the educational institutions. And more than anything, the students and who are passing out are also looking forward for the opportunity because you have accessibility, you can afford, and you can also try. And your mindset is all that it really matters. So having said that, my third request that I would want to bring it for you is, please be interactive in the session, ask us questions.
Invention.
Yeah, so discovery. Just name 3 discoveries.
Okay.
I couldn't hear. So I might want you to be little loud. Scattering of the light, C.V. Raman, absolutely. That's one of our discovery that starts with India from a big bang now. Okay, next. Elements, okay, elements was a discovery. Very good, okay. Absolutely. So one of the greatest discovery is you will have to just scratch your mind to say, okay, what has been the kind of the discovery? Okay, fair enough. So the next one, name any two admirable inventions. My friend has already said light bulb. Okay, the bulb moment is already on. Give me another one invention. Telephone, absolutely. Okay, one of the admirable inventions that we have got. Name any one smart innovation. Any one smart innovation? Sorry? I am unable to hear. EV vehicles, absolutely. Okay, EV is a very good smart innovation, fair enough. Now, a primary question comes. What's the difference between discovery, invention and innovation, folks? Absolutely. Something which is already there and you are bringing it to light is discovery. Invention is something which was never existing and you come up with an idea, you create a prototype, you bring in the solution around you without electricity. Even this will not work and my voice will not reach you. You will not be able to see me without the light bulb. Okay? Why did it? That was one of the examples. EV vehicles. Let's consider an EV vehicle. Okay? Was it a necessity, by the way? Was it a necessity? Why was EV vehicle a necessity? Why did it even, what kind of a demand did we have? Sorry? To reduce pollution. Taken. Why should we reduce pollution? It's harming environment. What will happen if the environment gets harmed? We don't have resources and we will suffer. Both of them are equally true and right. So one is that we will have to sustain, plus it is exhaustible, is exclusively as a part of, it was either the need to fill the gap or solve a problem. That's exactly where the journey started for any entrepreneur for that matter. Always remember, innovation is not born out of a poverty mindset. It is never born out of a comfortable mindset. It is never born out of the complacence or the satisfaction or a contented corners. So you will have to observe, recognize that there is a problem, and it's not being a pessimistic, it is about recognizing your opportunity. That is where the things really make a difference. Along with it, I have a couple of more questions to bring it from the discovery, from the different era to today. Can you name one popular e-commerce company? There are so many of them. Okay, just one of them, Flipkart, Amazon, name it, you have it. There are so many of them that actually you can go ahead to list. Name the company which revolutionized F&B industry. What is F&B, folks? Sorry? Food and beverage. Okay, I am unable to hear, but food and beverage. Which is that one company which revolutionized food and beverage? Swiggy and Zomato. That is, did it revolutionize? Did we look at the hotel industry in a different way or the food and beverage industry in a different way? Yes, no? Somebody somewhere thought that, say for instance, you are grown up and you have a work to do, and eventually, your parents might have been suffering from a viral fever during that time, and you have a meeting, you cannot miss, there is no work from home, unfortunately, you will have to end up going to office and there is nobody to take care, and there is nobody to take care of their food. Either, the three people who were behind Swiggy or Dipinder from Zomato might have thought that, there is an opportunity, right? Wish I had somebody parceling, somebody me ordering the food and somebody getting it to home. So, somebody thought about it and there was a need, and just looking at the opportunity, they went ahead to create a prototype and a solution. What in case, what if was the biggest question that they asked. And this is where the journey of any entrepreneur starts with, what if this can happen? Or countries just like Sri Lanka or Burma, Bhutan, all of these places are utilizing, and the tourism are actually amplified for the concept of the Airbnb as well. So you need to understand the repercussions of the one solution where people had infrastructure. I just said that I only have one room. What do I go ahead to do that? And somebody came and told me, don't worry about it. You still have just one room. We will accommodate people. You can only accommodate 2 people with the food. We will go ahead to give you. There were 2 people around it who actually wanted to utilize the opportunity. I am being benefited. You are being benefited. What is stopping us? So these are the places where it got revolutionized. Some people, some corner recognized this can be done, and they just took a plunge. At last but not the least, name one company who challenged us not to carry hard cash. UPI? Before UPI?
Paytm.
Absolutely. It is Vijay Shekhar Sharma who thought about it. We owe a lot to him. When it comes to, there are so many friends of mine even today who don't even carry 100 to 200 rupees cash. So everything, even with a small vegetable vendor outside, they have a QR code, and we are all digitized. Compared to many countries, India is far more digitized. When you step out of the borders, you will actually discover this. But the fact is, we changed the way we started looking at the economy, and this is where a lot of human psyche also works when it comes to solution oriented answers for the problems that we had. So coming back to continue, at last I have one question. What is the oldest invention that brought a revolution according to you?
Wheel.
Who said that? Okay, that was very interesting. I was about to say that, okay, you also have a clue, but you did not even take a clue. Brilliant. So, do you know how wheel was? When you look at the human civilization, we were nomads. Agree? We were nomads. What do you mean by nomad? Somebody who were wandering. Okay, we never had a specific place to live by. We never had invented or discovered that there can be a house that can be constructed. Wherever the resources were, we just kept on going. And at one particular juncture of the human civilization, we went ahead to say that there is such a big community, there are 80 people, 100 people, we do not want to live in caves, and there was an occasion wherein we discovered the concept of huts using the dry leaves, etc. And then we started staying in one particular place with a big community as a part of the entire group, because the group also gives the strength. If I leave a river, there was a big hillock right in front of him, and we already had discovered the kind of concept of logs, and we used to cut trees as well. So it was during this time where he was sitting at the bank of the river, and there was this hillock right in front of him. The logs were just cut from the top of the hill, and it started rolling from top of the hill to the bottom. This is what he sat and observed. While he sat and observed, immediately he just got an idea saying that, yeah man, this is something which is very, something which is enlightening moment wherein I can use something. Immediately he just jumped onto the other part of the bank and then said, let me just cut it into the kind of a circles, and then how do I put a slab in between, put 2 different circles in between, and then put the animal at the center, and can I go ahead to even transport this particular animal. Can you all see the picture? Yes? So, this is what he did. And that was a light moment, and the wheels were invented as a part of the primary necessity. So, this is where the innovation brings in. What did he start with his journey was, he had a problem in hand. There was a necessity to transport, because they had to figure out how do they want to crack this, and then started with the observation and one single moment, and immediately a kind of, probably the kind of the wheel that we use today in a various different forms and the formats has went through umpteen number of refinements. But when did you start? Where did you start is all that it matters, because Refinement will happen your entire life. The course correction will happen. Today you start something, the course correction will happen. When it comes to, let me give you my own example. When I started my entrepreneurial journey in 2016, we also, we had the COVID in 2020. That really brought in such a big challenge. Lot of things had to go online and the coaching industry took a different turn altogether. So, we will face challenge, we will face failures, folks. The refinements will happen and there is no way that I can endorse that everything will be hunky-dory, which is the truth that you are also aware about it. But the fact is, when you face failure, do you have that resilience to get up is what it matters. Because that is also the reason why most of the startups, more than how many startups that starts will close in the very first year or the first 3 years? Let's consider first 3 years. What is the percentage of the startups which close within first 3 years? 92%. Absolutely. Not, I cannot really fix with a 92%, but anything above 80% is what we consider. Look at it. Among every 10 people, 8 people shut down their systems, shut down their infrastructure. Have you ever thought that what might be the reason? There is a lot of challenges, no doubt about it. Those 2 people take it up, they are resilient enough, they sustain. But the rest of the 8 people get back to the industry, they perish. So this is where the things really change. It's not about your solution and product alone. It's also about your mindset. Do you have that entrepreneurial mindset? Do you have innovation mindset? Do you have that observatory skills to say that I am not going to give up? This is where the things really take a different plunge altogether, and you just cannot give up. You don't have a plan B. Plan B, there is a lot of debate of having plan A and plan B, but I belong to the first category that don't even have plan B. Only when you don't have a plan B, then you will focus everything on your plan A. But in sum of any idea is useless if you don't put it into practice. I repeat, any idea is useless when you don't put it into practice, and nothing can be done about it. So there is no point at all in thinking. So when it comes to a solution, how do you even want to go ahead from the vision to any venture? What is the entrepreneurial mindset? Is all about first get to know what is entrepreneurship. Okay? Why I would want to introduce the entire concept of entrepreneurship. I will introduce what does it take, what are the ingredients for you to start your journey, start observing, develop whatever the idea that you have. I will set the context and lay the platform. And then we come to the real aspects of how do I want to go about it, how do I want to take forward the step. And there can be a bunch of people, it can be LLP, it can be private limited, it can be registration, what are the compliance, what is the financial aid, everything Sunil will be able to highlight it. But get to know what does it take to start the journey. What is entrepreneurship is all starts with the idea. The first is solve the problem. This is where your journey starts, and you will have to take risk. As I said, any idea is useless without any practical step taking it forward. So take risks, and it should be calculative risks. For sure you will fail, you will have to course correct, but can you sleep over it and get up to say that this was my choice and I'm not going to give up? So take risks in that matter, and what exactly and what is the magnitude of the things that you will take a plunge. More than anything that you would want to provide. If you would want to become somebody who is successful, you will have to create a value, folks. If your product or a solution or any of the services that you are going to give, if it does not create any value, you will not sustain. So creating the value will attract your audience and the kind of a clients or anybody who you would want to sell. So coming back, the entrepreneurship is all about turning your ideas into reality, solving a specific problem, looking out for what is the need, and more than anything, taking risks by creating the value. So this is where the definition of an entrepreneurship comes. So while I did mention what exactly is the context 10 years ago, why did it become all of a sudden like, oh yeah, entrepreneurs? It is also overly romanticized term, let me tell you. Why entrepreneurship today? Why are you even listening to all this? Why did you even nominate yourself? Why? Are you being an advantage of this? Unemployability. Okay, unemployability. So, do you think there is unemployability, guys? Yes? Yes, no. Do you really think there is unemployability? Underemployment. Okay, underemployment is different, unemployment is different. Do you think there is an unemployment? Do you think there is a problem in employment today? Do you think chances are less? Do you think there are no opportunities? Yes, no. Okay, I am just hearing both the words. How many feel that there is a problem for employment? I am not getting jobs. There are no opportunities, there are no chances. Please raise your hands. There are no opportunities. Wow, I don't see any hand. Okay, do you all agree that there are opportunities? What is lacking? You need to keep thinking, you need to keep observing, you need to be curious, you need to come up with solutions again and again and again and again. There is a pattern, okay? All of a sudden nothing will happen. Particularly when I started in 2016, my idea first did not come in all of a sudden in 2016. It was a 4-year-old idea. 2012 I started my journey. I was still working, but still was contemplating, is it so, should I do, how do I need to do, how do I go about it? And then after 4 years I took this decision. That decision making is a dawn moment. But the idea will have to keep recalibrating in your mind umpteen number of times to arrive over there. So please start your journey wherever you are, even today. While you go to your canteen, while you will have your lunch or cup of a coffee, exchanging, bunch of friends are discussing, come up with the problems. Did you go through this? This is the problem, this is the solution. That is the discussion you need to have. A lot of different minds come together to be a collective wisdom for lot many different solutions. That's where it makes a lot of difference. If you might want to talk about Instagram and Facebook, but trust me, I'm not interested with that. It is not that I do not know. I am definitely available in all the social media platforms, but that doesn't mean that I will keep talking about it. The more solution minded you are, the more entrepreneurial mindset you become. The more evaluative your mindset is, the more prospective way that you look forward, shaping your own personality, and that is where the entrepreneurship journey also starts. Why entrepreneurship today is, couple of them did mention about unemployment, but trust me my dears, I am vouching on this. There is umpteen number of opportunities both in the industry and also for you. Why entrepreneurship became today has got two dimensions. One is for you, what is the advantage? For the community, what is the advantage? One is to you, obviously it is a self-employment and the employment for the inner circles. When you start on your own, you will not go hire, putting every job into Naukri or Times Jobs. You will go ahead to say that who are my people whom I can trust. That is your inner circle. It can be your friends, it can be your family members, it can be anybody who really support you. Create your support circle. Second point, extremely important for your solution to get it implemented. And look forward for your mindset. One can be good at marketing, one can be good at tech, one can be good at content development, one can be good at social media. You need all of them. It is never a DIY project. What is DIY? Yeah, so it is never a DIY project. So you need people and prolong the career for next generation. Obviously, somebody who really started, whether be it Infosys or Tata's, today it is a big business conglomerates. But the fact is, you never know when, how will it just definitely go ahead to ripple, to have its ripple effect in the generations. Next is freedom to use your own ideas. You need not have to come back and say, I have this manager man, I have to every day go ahead and take that take the permission even to sit and stand. You don't need that. So that is also one of the points where you have the freedom, unlimited income and the amplified income, and you can just go ahead to have the higher retention. But independence will also come, and the satisfaction is also the positives of it. Okay, these are all very, very nice to see, but there is a huge price that you are also going to pay for it. And coming back to the community, how does it matter for the community and the country at a larger scale is it provides a larger employment, and you will be, let me tell you folks, I have been an employee as well and I have been an employer as well, and the contentment I get when I pay someone or when I get paid, I just cannot tell you the comparison. It just cannot
happen, it's a different polarity altogether. It's a different kick, it's a different satisfaction and contentment when you pay someone, when you say that I have something and so I am capable enough to take care of few things. So when you provide the larger employment, it is totally a different contentment and complacence that you can get it for yourself, results in the wider distribution of wealth. And if you are from if you are from different parts of country, it can be any part of North or Maharashtra or Gujarat or Rajasthan or even parts of Karnataka, say for instance you are from Shimoga or Hassan, you would want to go back there and you want to mobilize these local resources. So that is where the things really make a difference, and you can go create that employment and your cost will also be reduced, and the GDP has a different result altogether when it comes to the country and the community scale. Accelerates the pace of economic development. At last, it stimulates the innovation and the efficiency, and this is where the things really change at a larger scale. Why is it become important today? Obviously for the fact that there is a lot of growth in the education, science and the STEM part of the zone of the industry, be it science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So the things have amplified in a different angle in the last decade, including the COVID times. COVID times, of course, we had a flip side, but the positive side is also it provided a lot of opportunities for particularly technology to boom in a lot of different dimensions which we had never thought about. Next is developed infrastructure facilities. You can afford for the infrastructure, and the e-commerce platform has amplified as well, and you can infrastructure also plays a wider role in that as a part of the virtual world. Financial assistance and the information accessibility is also one of them. Today you need not have to worry that, oh, I don't have 25 lakhs, how do I even have, what is my capex, that is a capital expenditure, who are my angel investors or the venture capitalists. You really need not have to worry so much about it, because if your idea is really worth it, you will be able to crack it, and there are solutions around it. Coming back to protective and promotional policies are there are hundreds and hundreds of, this at least gives me some breathing space to say, yeah. So you can be an entrepreneur too, but let me tell you, what does it cost? You just need to ask these questions. Do you observe things around and question why is it so? Okay. The next is, do you think of any ideas and convert it to be how pragmatic and practical might it sound? Do you think that you can work not really hard, really hard? Okay. The next is, do you feel the urge for achievement, not giving up, and any challenges that you might want to face? Do you take your own accountability and responsibility? If I take this decision, it might fail, be it so, I will fail, but still I'll get up. Do you take your own responsibility and accountability? Do you think you know your strength? Super important is the last one. You will have to discover your forte. You will have to discover what are you really good at. If you think that technical entrepreneurship, I can just go ahead, pull out a system, I can code and come up with a platform, come out with some product, sorry. Do you have that strength to build the entire product to make it sustain? That is something which is extremely important. Don't be in a hunky-dory world that everything is super green out there. The competition is really fierce, and you need to figure out the practicality and who would want to buy your product. Why should they buy your product? Start thinking in that particular angle, and it should be your strength. Like, say for instance, if you ask me, if I ask the same question to myself, why did I come and why did I take a plunge and embrace the academic entrepreneurship? While I work, we have a bunch of skill development courses within my own institute. I work with educational institution, we have services of the counseling, so there are totally 3 wings around there, and in the last 9 years, nothing less than around 3 lakhs students and the individuals that I have coached, at least nothing less than around 10,000 parents. These are the lower limits that I am saying, and along with it, the kind of the course corrections and the kind of UG and the PG when it comes to employability skills and the training for them. So all put together, it's a very long journey, but the fact is that my forte? Because coming from the human resources, I could have just started my TA, the talent acquisition organization. I am good at compensation and benefits. So I could have even started with respect to the, the kind of a compliance, taking care of that, etc., etc. There are umpteen number of ideas. But when I literally started thinking that what should I really go with, I love to train, I love to coach. This is my strength. You cannot stop me even if you say, Pratima, will you be able to do a training for 10 hours? Take it from me, I will have the same rigor and energy even at 9 hours 55 minutes. So this is where your strength is. So you will have to figure out what is your energy. What kind of vibes do you really bring? Can you create that value with what you choose? This is where your forte really aligns, and that is where the entrepreneurship mindset really shifts. Figure this out, and if you believe you have what it takes it to be, here is the process. This is the platform for the next part of the entire slide. So before I go forward, I wanted to leave you before I give you the steps. So every billionaire, every billion-dollar company has always had, once the founder had absolutely no money, but just an idea. Remember, none of us start with bunch, with lakhs together in our hand. That's the truth. Okay? Then coming back to faced many failures yet adapted. Next has had innumerable challenges yet sustained only because we did not want to give up, and it is, and it will never be an easy path. Okay, those are the 4 things. This is my own experiences that I am sharing with you. Coming back to the kind of this is the process that I wanted to, this is where Sunil will be able to emphasize more on it. So first is, whenever you have an idea or a solution, you starts with an idea, come up with the plan and the framework. What is the process that you would want to take a plunge? What are your finances and the resources that you would plan? And next is the kind of the growth strategy. The growth strategy and the scaling up will not happen first 3 years of your journey. It will only have to amplify post 3 years. The first 3 years is your honeymoon period, where you can just start settling around, get to know what exactly is it, start experimenting, start course correcting. But scaling up and the growth strategy will have to kick in only post that. That's generally the statistical analysis part of it. But you will have to have the first 4. That, ma'am, if I just start sharing my ideas, they'll just borrow that idea, they'll steal my idea, so I am little insecure about it. So I only have, if at all this question also raises in your mind, folks, I only have one question to ask you. If you feel that your idea is so feeble and so weak that someone else can steal, then you yourself will have to question that it is not strong enough. Just because someone just listens to your idea doesn't mean that they come up with the entire prototype and framework. So don't be insecure, share your ideas and people will join hands. Never ever take a back seat or feel not being confident or insecure that somebody else will steal it. They cannot, just by listening, just by sharing things, you will only amplify and the things will not go in a kind of a wrong track. This is where I would actually want to go ahead and consequentially mention this statement for you too. So your journey starts with observation. Start sharing the things, start discussing on the right angle, and you can have fun, you can cheer up for a bunch of different things, but if at all you belong to any of the second, third or the final years of your engineering journey, it's high time that you start having that clarity, be it an entrepreneurship, be it an intrapreneurship, wherever you are, take a plunge, keep innovating ideas, and once you never know, one day you will start getting up, or 10 years from today, probably 2035 or 2030, you will meet up in one corner in metro or airport, anything, and you will say that, ma'am, do you remember Feb 24th? I was in Dayananda Sagar College, I was in my 3rd year, 4th year. Now I have a startup on my own, I am put up in Jayanagar 4th block. So I'm not surprised. Even if there are 10% or 20% of this entire crowd can get in there, our efforts is worth it. So I wish you all the very best of luck. Have a brilliant observatory and a reflective mindset. Wish you all the best for the rest of your journey. Feel free, get connected to me if at all you need any endorsements to say that, yeah, this is what it is, I need some mentorship, etc. MSME along with me. is available. You can find me in any social media platforms, including LinkedIn. Get connected, you can reach out and you will get the reply within 24 hours, and that's my timeline. All the best, folks. Sunil, on to you. Thank you.